All right, welcome, guys. It is Mr. Gurney, and we are starting week 9 of online learning for STEM Science 7. This is for the week of May 18th through May 22nd, and there are a few things I want to go over. I want to go over our Zoom meeting schedule for the week, your photosynthesis project from last week, and the plan for this week. So let's get started. Just a reminder that you should check daily announcements, modules, and Zoom meeting schedule. Those are all on the left side here. They're also on the bottom here. But you should be checking those every day. Important information is shared through announcements. Our modules is where you find your learning assignments, and our Zoom meeting schedule is where we put our schedule for our meeting. So it's important to check. The first thing I'm going to do is show you our Zoom meeting schedule. You can click here and it will open up this Zoom meeting schedule. When you take a look at this for STEM 7, you notice that there's only one required meeting this week. That is Monday. It is the full hour from 11 to 12. I will be going over the project from last week as well as what we're doing this week, and there will be some discussions, and it's really important that you attend and show up at 11 o'clock for that meeting. Tuesday, we will not have a meeting because I'll be spending the whole time with 6th graders that day. Wednesday is optional help. You can come anytime between 11 and 12. Thursday, there is no meeting, but if you have questions, you can email me, or if there's something urgent you need to discuss through Zoom, feel free to send a message, and we can set up a Zoom meeting. And Friday, between 11 and 12, we have our Friday Kahoot. Just a reminder, under announcements, you can find the winners from the previous Friday Kahoots. Okay, so let's take a look at we went over our Zoom meeting schedule. Let's take a look at what learning we're going to do this week and talk about our project from last week. So I'm going to click on modules. And we are in week 4 of this module, which is week 9 of online, but week 4 of the module. Week 3 of the module, last week, you were working on a project. At this point, that project should be submitted. There are 2 final submissions. One is your Google Doc, which is final submission number 1. You submit your Google Doc to me, complete. Final submission number 2 is a gallery walk. And I'm going to scroll down. I don't want to scroll too far down, but there is a spot where you click reply, and then your post will be right below that. I'm not going to scroll all the way down so that names aren't shown on a YouTube video, but this is where you should have submitted. And this is a link to a photo of your prototype, not your Google Doc, just a photo so we can share what our prototype or our model looked like. Now, I'm talking about this in the video because many of you submitted a link, which is awesome, a link to your photos. The problem is when you open that, for many of you, not all of you, for many of you, this is the message that I'm getting and other students are getting. So that means when you created your Google Doc or your Google Slides, wherever you put your photos, you had it set to restricted or private. You need to go up to the top corner on your document and you will click share, and then you need to make sure that link is shared with everyone at Oceanside Unified School District. If you don't do that, then I can't view this. And even if you just share it with just me, your peers can't view it, and we need everyone to be able to view it. So make sure you go check yours, make sure, and there should be a message if you didn't submit it correctly, but double check to make sure it works. Okay. So now that we have that out of the way, let's talk about week 9, what we're doing in 7th grade science. So we are in week 9 of online learning, week 4 of the Why Do We Eat module. Next week will be the last week of the module, and it most likely won't even go all week. So we're only have about a week and a half left of Why Do We Eat? So this week you have this list right here to complete. The first thing is a check-in. This is not a survey like it has been. I just want you to respond to one prompt. What is one thing that you are grateful for during this time? And what is something that makes you happy every day to do or think about? To respond to that, instead of a survey, you're just going to click submit, and you will type your response right down here, or you can click media and you can record a video response. I would prefer video responses, but as long as you respond, I am okay with that. Okay, I'm going to go back to modules. And after you complete your check-in, you will move on to Monday's assignment. It is the photosynthesis modeling project replies. All you need to do for that assignment is reply to 3 of your peers, and we are replying to our final submission number 2 from Friday. The one I just talked about, where some of you had it, you didn't share it correctly. It's important that you share it correctly because other students won't be able to view your project, and when they have to go reply, it may be challenging to do so. So your job is to reply to 3 of your peers. Each reply should have 2 complements. An example could be, your materials you chose represented the different atoms well. And in addition to your 2 compliments, you would put 1 constructive criticism, something that maybe they could have done better, but it needs to be constructive. Give them a way it could have been better. Give them a technique. Doesn't mean it's a negative thing. It's just we're giving each other feedback so in the future our projects can be even better. So you're going to do that Monday. This should not take very long. You're just going to reply to 3 of your peers. And then that's the 18th. The 19th, you're going to start on ecosystems. We have an understanding of photosynthesis now. We're going to apply that understanding to the concept of food webs and ecosystems. So balancing or balance in a food web ecosystem. There are multiple steps to this, but just go straight through. It talks about what you need to do. You'll create a new page in your science notebook. You are going to discuss the differences between a food chain and food web. There's a video on food chains and food webs you will watch, and then you will respond to this question in the discussion below. In what ways can a single species impact an entire ecosystem or food web? And this activity is going to be an introduction into our Wolves of Yellowstone activity, which has to do with a concept called trophic cascades. So on Monday, after you finish that, if you want to do something fun, there is a really fun game called Feed the Dingo Ecosystem Game. If you want to try that, I put a link to the game right here. This is completely optional, but you can try playing the game and then we can see who can get the highest score on their game. And it looks like some students have already posted, so make sure that you do that and you can post your score, just like I did, right below. So it looks like my highest score I did on Friday was 1,105. And if you can beat that, awesome. Just do your best, but it's a fun game and it helps you understand ecosystems. All right. So next, at the end of the week, we are doing one long assignment that's divided over 3 parts. This used to take 2 days when we were in class doing it, but now that we're online, we're going to give you 3 and actually a little bit more because this last part, Wolves of Yellowstone Part 3, is actually not going to be due until the end of day the following Tuesday. So you'll have some more time. So Wolves of Yellowstone, we are looking at the Yellowstone ecosystem. And the Wolves of Yellowstone assignment, which you will start on Wednesday, is a Nearpod. And this Nearpod is it's fairly long, I'll be honest, but it's really important to get the basic understanding of Yellowstone and ecosystems and food webs within Yellowstone. So you are going to go through this Nearpod and do the best you can to complete it. There's some videos in here. It tells you exactly what to do on each step. I think it's a pretty good Nearpod. And you are going to get some information about a concept called trophic cascades, which is essentially cascading through a food web. It'll make more sense once we learn more about the Wolves of Yellowstone. But you need to complete this Nearpod and submit. When you are done with that Nearpod, you'll go to Wolves of Yellowstone Part 2. Wolves of Yellowstone Part 2 is a video. It's about a little more longer than 5-minute video, but for Part 2, you are only going to watch up to 2:37 in the video. That's all you have to do. Just watch this video up to 2 minutes and 37 seconds, and then respond to this prompt. That's all you need to do for Part 2. All right, and the last part, Wolves of Yellowstone Part 3. This is the same video, except this time you're going to watch it until the end. I recommend starting it from the beginning again and rewatching it all the way through this time. And there's a Google Doc that goes with this. This Google Doc has some scientific data in the form of graphs in there that came from a different study in Yellowstone. we are going to use those graphs. Let me show you. We're going to use those graphs to interpret what we're seeing happening in Yellowstone. So this document, you'll start this on Friday, and there's different graphs, different questions, but this will not be due until the following Tuesday. So if you look here, it's due May 26th. We do not have school the following Monday, so this will be due that Tuesday because I want to be able to go over it during our Zoom. So I encourage you to get a start on that, but then you don't need to complete this till the following week. So in reality, you only need to get through Wolves of Yellowstone Part 2 and submit it by this week, and then be ready to finish Part 3 next week. Okay? So this is all you have to do this week. If you did not finish last week's lessons, make sure you go back and do that. If you did not finish the week before, make sure you go back and do that. And you can go all the way back until we first started online. So 9 weeks of online learning is here for you. Do as much as you can. And if you have questions, you can always email me. You can send me a message through Canvas. Whatever you need to get a hold of me, I will respond, and I will be happy to help you. I hope everyone has a wonderful day and enjoy week 9 of online learning in science.